So we are about to go for headlines across Africa. Well, if you missed the early part of the show, you can catch it later on demand, AGR on demand on africaglobalradio.com.
I love Africa Global Radio.
It is about time now for headlines across Africa. Don't go.
Headlines across Africa.
Headlines across Africa.
Headlines across Africa.
Headlines across Africa.
Here it is.
Well, today we'll go into Namibia, Cameroon, and Niger. So we'll be starting from Namibia. We'll be reading from the Namibian newspaper.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Well, the headline says opposition fumes at Juste Chimie on Air Nam.
I didn't understand a thing you said.
Opposition fumes at Juste
Oh,
Chimie
opposition fumes.
Yes.
Ah, right. Sounded like Portuguese, but then let's hear it.
Well, a quick summary of it before I actually read. This has to do with the Namibian airline, Air Namibia.
Okay.
The fact that it's actually being closed down.
What?
And yeah, they're
That is
being
not a
called
good
to
one.
return some of the airplanes and stuff. But yeah, that's the source of the story. It's something that's actually been circulating for some time.
Closed down.
Yeah, they're facing more losses than they are making gains.
Well, okay, not a justification, but then yeah, continue. Let's hear it.
Well, opposition parliamentarians yesterday were furious over the cabinet's decision to close Air Namibia without consulting the National Assembly and asked that it should be revoked. The MPs were especially furious with Minister of Finance Mpumbu Shimi and his public enterprises counterpart Leon Juste, whom they blame for what they call a great misjudgment. Although the two ministers were not present in Parliament yesterday, it did not stop opposition MPs from lashing out at them. The two ministers came under fire this week after they decided to enforce a 2020 decision to liquidate the financially troubled national airline, which has gobbled up close to 11 billion Namibian dollars of taxpayers' money in the past 3 decades. Now, the outrage by the opposition MPs is a contradiction, as many of them have in the past called for the liquidation of non-performing state-owned enterprises, including Air Namibia. Well, that's the main thing that is happening. So, I think
That's
business is business. It is heartbreaking.
But maybe
Business is business, and it's either the thing is becoming
COVID
an asset
related?
or a liability. Not necessarily. COVID adds another layer to the whole situation. If
Okay.
something is becoming a liability, you have to find a way to deal with it. And when you have another thing like COVID making it more stressful, then it becomes more of a problem. And like they've mentioned, if it's gobbled up that much money within 3 decades, it means they're just running at a loss instead of gaining. So they have to find a way to liquidate it and deal with the situation.
Oh dear. How about partnering with the private sector?
So
Maybe that
I
maybe
believe
would be an alternative.
that option should be made open or put on the table. I think that
Or
is also one of
maybe
the reasons
the other
why the
parties
other parties
think,
are
yeah, that should have been
fighting them on
possible.
this. So we'll still follow up on the story. It's still
But
developing.
a national
Let's
career goes away just like that. I mean, we don't have much of them. We can only rely on, yours truly, right? Do I need to mention names? No, I don't.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
we can boast of Ethiopia, Kenya, South Africa, not as much as before. Rwanda, Egypt, yes. Virgin Nigeria, okay. But we need more. We have 53 countries, right? Or 54. And then, anyway, we can do better, I know. Right.
I believe that we'll follow the story as it continues, but I think they should
Hunt it down.
actually explore other options other than just
Yeah,
immediately
right?
shutting it down.
Yeah.
So they should work. If it's like a temporary close down, so they revamp and come back better, that is something that can be considered. But if it's like completely scrabbling it off the table, I think they should look into public-private partnership that could also do them some good.
Yeah, because I believe something can be done to save the day. All right.
Well, finally, moving on to Cameroon, we're reading from the Journal du Cameroun newspaper, and the headline says Cameroon, Olembe Stadium bill soars to more than 200 billion CFA francs.
Olembe. Okay, tell us more.
Now, the new loan of 55 billion CFA francs desired by President Paul is in addition to the 3 debts already incurred to realize this infrastructure. On 16 February, the President of the Republic authorized the Minister of the Economy to sign a credit agreement of 55 billion CFA francs. This debt, contracted from Standard Chartered Bank Landing and PBI France Export, should enable the decree informs to finance the project to complete the work of the Olympic Sports Complex in the city of Yaoundé. So its initial cost was already estimated at 163 billion CFA francs, but the debt clearance comes a few days after the revelation of information about the need for financing for the construction of the stadium. According to the newspaper Anecdote, the manufacturer McGill is looking for 17 billion CFA francs to complete the stadium.
Okay.
Well, in other words, this new funding is expected to bring more than 200 billion CFA francs, and the funds already mobilized to build stadiums. Cameroon had already contracted 139 billion CFA francs from Intesa San Paulo SPA and 24.5 billion CFA francs from UBA. That's the story coming from the Journal du Cameroon, but my honest opinion, no country is better with debts.
No.
No country is better with
Olembe
debts.
Stadium.
Not when you keep piling up and adding up. And
Yeah, right.
I mean, I don't know, but I think we should look at the priorities because dealing with COVID-19, I don't know how many people are willing to go and troop to a stadium to go and watch a football match.
Yeah.
Or
exactly.
how many people will
Most
organize
stuff
events.
must be virtual.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
So I feel this is not necessarily that much of a priority for them to actually
Exactly.
want to
At
incur more
the
debts
moment,
at
yeah,
this time
yeah.
with the whole COVID thing on our hands.
Oh dear, unfortunately. Salomon Olembe, I believe, whom the stadium was named after, one of the, greatest footballers from Cameroon. Well, let's see what happens. But right now, let's get health first.
Okay, so we're reading from the Le Sahel newspaper in Niger, and the headline says that the President of the Republic officially launches the rehabilitation of the Tanout-Tigouidit Road, 93.6 billion CFA francs invested to alleviate the ordeal of users.
Okay.
The President of the Republic, Head of State, Sem Isufu Mahamadou, yesterday morning in Taount, a town in the northern Zinda region, officially launched the 226-kilometer-long rehabilitation of the Tanout-Tigouidit Road.
Okay.
The ceremony included national deputies, presidents of the Republic's institutions, members of the government, the diplomatic corps, and representatives of international organizations accredited in Niger.
Right.
Now, also present were the governors of the Agadez and Zinda regions, religious and customary leaders, as well as the people of the area. The ceremony, rich in color and sound, actually spoke volumes about the enthusiasm of the people of the region for the rehabilitation of this long-awaited infrastructure. And indeed, once the work was completed, and it will help alleviate the ordeal that is endured by users during the stretch of the road. This is good.
Very, very.
I think if you've had a personal experience of how it is to use bad roads or terrible roads for long hours, the minute you hear that the government is fixing it or is on it, it brings you so much joy.
20 minutes, you take 4 hours to access it.
Yeah, it brings
Very
you quite
terrible.
the joy.
Very, very terrible. Well, good news. We need to fix our roads. Fixing the roads, it brings about a whole lot of things. Economic activities, education, development generally. Because obviously people would have to go in and out and for various reasons. But that's a good move by the head of state of Niger. Great.
Well, that's all we have for headlines across Africa.
Yep. You are listening to the Africa Daily Show on africaglobalradio.com. You need to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Believe me, you need to, because a whole lot of stuff in there for you to explore. You may not know what's happening in the eastern parts of the continent. We bring it to you. To the north, definitely. From the south, and where we are based, West Africa, in Ghana. Well, we try to find out what's happening in the diaspora as well. So all of these combined in one platform, africaglobalradio.com. Don't forget that. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Africa Global Radio, on Facebook, Africa Global Radio, Twitter, AF Global Radio. The hashtag is the Africa Daily Show.